Dialing under the influence creates a blended turkey margarita. First, we're gonna double fist margarita mix and tequila. Oh yeah, measure with our hearts here on Dialing Under the Influence. A little bit of ice, and of course, a handful of ground turkey. Now we blend. Look at that fluorescent gray. Mmm. Tastes exactly how you'd expect. I'll see you at UCI.
What's up, yo? Welcome to his podcast. He's at UCI, and one thing I can tell you is that UCI has some really authentic individuals representing the entirety of California and our nation.
And you're a student here?
Oh, for sure. I'm a super senior, so I'm a 34-year-old student at UCI.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you said there's a lot of authentic individuals here.
For sure.
Do you consider yourself an authentic individual?
I have to be, because I mean, I've suffered through a lot of trauma like we all have, but I don't think there's none quite like myself here. So I think I express it openly.
How in your daily life do you express yourself authentically?
Well, so I myself, I'm formerly incarcerated. I was arrested when I was 15 years old. I used to hang out with a community group that law enforcement labeled a gang, so they viewed us as a criminal organization. A lot of people know them as the Crips. I just knew them as my friends. So growing up, found myself around a robbery. I didn't tell on the individuals, and they were from a rival community group. So I ended up being tried as an adult, as a 15-year-old, direct file to adult court, sentenced to life in prison for a murder I didn't commit. But you know what? That's what you kind of train for out here in California. You're prepared for whatever comes. And in some of our communities, you have community groups that are targeted by law enforcement in the carceral system. And I happen to fall into that category. Every school I went to, expelled, kicked out from second grade all the way through the ninth grade. When I was incarcerated, I was expelled and kicked out of multiple schools in my community. So instead of identifying a need that I had, I became the problem. And since I was society's problem, I was sentenced to life in prison. But look, how did I get here today?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. So you said you were or sentenced to life, but clearly
Correct.
you're not in prison.
Oh, thank God.
So tell me about that journey.
Yeah, man. So like I said, I went at the age of 15, did 3 tough years in juvenile hall where I started changing my life. So all of a sudden, instead of being a follower amongst my community group, I started focusing on what leadership qualities I had, because when I entered the carceral system, there was leaders that had came before me. Some of these guys physically shot people. Some of these guys were a part of other group offenses that landed them into a carceral system, such as our juvenile hall out in Riverside. But what happened was they changed their life. They started going to church. They would be in church singing worship music. Holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. So it was like, you're praising God, but you were legit. That was part of the authenticity. You come from this. So I'm like, wow, I'm looking at you now. Like, you're what I want to become. Like, you're so positive and peaceful, and nobody's touching you. You're still a leader here. So unfortunately, just because I changed didn't mean I got to go home, because our carceral system is really tough. Like, you get caught up in that web, it's like Spider-Man. You get caught up in Spider-Man's web, you're not getting out of it. So I was sentenced to life in prison, shipped off to the adult system once I turned 18. First prison, Pelican Bay. Second prison, Lancaster. Third prison, Ironwood. Fourth prison, CMC. Fifth prison, San Diego, a program yard. So it was at that program yard I was introduced to college, the Rising Scholars Program. Shout out to the Rising Scholars. Is at all of our community colleges, and they support system impacted students, such as a formerly incarcerated student is myself.
Sure.
They went into the prison, and they started me on my path to higher ed. So the question, how I came home. So the law changed. Back in 2004, if you were around a dangerous felony and someone died as a result, you could be charged with first-degree murder regardless if you did it or not.
Wow.
Regardless if you were 14 or 80. So that's what law I fell under, and I was sentenced to first-degree murder, and with special circumstances, and treated as such all through my incarceration. 2 weeks prior to coming home, I was granted a change in my sentence. My sentence was modified to first-degree robbery, and then I was sent home within 2 weeks and forced to be homeless in Riverside.
And how old are you at this point?
So I'm 34 years old.
So at that point, how old were you?
When I was released,
Yeah.
I was 31 years old.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So now
3
continue.
years. Yeah, no problem. So, part of our carceral system is they're not necessarily focused on the overall health of the individual. So, what happens is you have so many people in California that suffer traumas. For instance, my father was incarcerated and deported. So, my mom supported us, but she worked in Los Angeles, commuted from Paris, California,
Wow.
Riverside County every day. So, I was learning how to become a man from some of my friends in the
At
community.
31? Or is this when you were a
This was
child?
when I was a child.
Got it.
So now as a man, I was forced to go back into that environment. And my family had
Mm.
already moved. So because of the carceral system, they're not really taking into account the individual needs. They found someone with trauma. I was able to be saved by higher education. Not everybody is. And that helped me get on a path to success when I came home from the carceral system. But a lot of people, like, I was forced to go homeless at Riverside. If I didn't have higher education in the Rising Scholars, I could have went right back to a friend's couch. I could have been right back to getting fronted marijuana or whatever. Marijuana's legal now. It wasn't
Yeah.
legal when I was out, but I could have been
Sure.
fronted something to sell. I could have been presented with weapons. I could have been elevated in my status in the community if I didn't have higher ed in that route. But what that tells you is that if when you take an harmed individual, hurt people, and you put them in a system that continues to harm them, you don't provide them proper support, we will come home. 95% of every single incarcerated individual in California will come home. And that means someone who shot somebody, someone who stabbed somebody, we're coming home. So you want somebody that's healed. You don't want somebody that's been beat upside the head, because when they get home, the likelihood of them recidivizing is really high. But what we've done through research, and those of us at UCI who are in PhD positions, I'm still an undergrad, but we're all working and doing research towards identifying what is keeping people out of the carceral system. Higher ed is one of those things.
Sure.
Once you attain an AA degree, less likely, BA degree, less likely. When we get to a master's degree, we have a zero recidivism rate. So that has identified something that ultimately improves society and keeps us safer, because a zero recidivism rate means zero victims of crime. So
Right.
we're out here, Spider-Man, Sean Khalifa, doing the crime fighting. We're fighting crime. Your district attorney's office, perpetuating crime. Sean
So,
Khalifa Underground Scholars, fighting crime. Zero recidivism.
yeah. So I just want to resume back to your story really quick.
Please do,
So
please do.
31, you go back home, you're homeless. How do you go from there to here?
Beautiful, beautiful question. During COVID, released in 2020, I call up a guy from the prison who was a volunteer. I say, hey, he's a reentry coordinator. I'm like, man, I'm homeless. I need housing. I'm going to school in Chula Vista, stuck in Riverside. I need housing. Picks up the phone, calls his people, says, hey, I got you housing. It's a reentry facility. Bam, send me to San Diego. Once I land in San Diego, the support system that went into the prison was in the community, and that was Rising Scholars. That was Project Rebound SDSU. So I finished my degree, graduate from Southwestern College with an associate degree for transfer, sociology, transfer to San Diego State. I spent 2 years at San Diego State living and working prior to coming to UCI. I started my family, thank God. I get to have kids. Even though I was sense of life, as a child now, I got kids. UCI is amazingly family friendly. We have graduate and family housing. So my children
Wow.
get to come to UCI and be zotters. And then I get to come to UCI and be a zotter. Why my family supported here on campus. So that's what brought me to UCI from SDSU, was the family support that they
Amazing.
can offer you at a UC versus a Cal State. But much love to San Diego State Project Rebound. I go down there quite often, go back into the prison I paroled from every Friday, and I'm a mentor. UCI has a bachelor's program in the prison that I paroled from.
Wow.
So Lifted, shout out Lifted, check them out.
Yeah.
Lifted, if you look that up. So they go in, they have 2 cohorts, they're starting the 3rd cohort. So every year, a group of up to 24 individuals become UCI students.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna name students, I'm gonna keep their
Of
privacy.
course.
But pretty notable individuals that you would know if you've seen their name, and they're your peers here going to UCI. So shout out if you haven't checked out Lifted. It's an
And-
honor for me to get to go and give back.
And you're still finishing up your BA here.
Still fishing up.
And
need
what are
2
you studying?
classes. I'm studying sociology, so how
Awesome.
societal factors influence behaviors, such as what societal factors in California communities lead individuals to a carceral system that's run by corporations, how to identify what's causing the effect of mass incarceration out here, school to prison pipeline.
And okay, so now we've reached to where we are today.
Yeah.
What's next for you?
Oh man, so I'm developing a Rising Scholars program myself. I was hired as a program coordinator at IVC, shout out Irvine Valley College. We're building up our Rising Scholars program, where
Amazing.
now we get to be that support that I needed when I came home. We get to basically offer it and support others. So that's what's next. Whether that's long term, short term, I'll find out. I'm applying to grad school here at UCI. If I don't get into any of your PhD programs, no love lost, you know. But I'm trying. I'm giving it the big shot. You know, I went from looking in a window this big out of cell at society, wanting to be out here. Now my window's like this big, and I'm
Right.
out here. So I'm doing it.
Amazing.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
And okay, so we've talked about your whole journey, what you have
Yeah, we
planned
did that.
next. It sounds like you've been through a lot.
Yeah, a
Ups,
little bit.
downs, a family.
Oh,
Um,
my family. Shout out Maria, Bella,
What
Naima,
what have you
Aqua.
learned in this experience, and what can people take away from this?
Yeah. So I think if I had to give you one thing to take away from a life experience, of lived experience that for a lot of people seems impossible to overcome, just know that anything is possible. Nothing stops you. Humans will adapt to any condition. Just when you think you won't survive an apocalypse, you wouldn't survive an EMP attack on the United States. Imagine if all the power goes out and then we're all struggling to survive. I want to let you know that you're going to survive. It's nothing. Men do it all the time. In the California Department of Corrections, men will go up against that system, be stripped naked and locked in a cell and isolated, and meant to break these men. For decades, they held men in isolation in the Pelican Bay SHU. These men did not break. They didn't change their ideology. They stayed focused, and they were humans. They were resilient. They made things to do. They wrote, they read, they studied, they learned. So I need all of you to know out there in society that whatever challenge we face as a country, in whatever country you're in, you're going to persevere. Humans were made to be adaptable and survive anything. Take away everything, we'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Don't forget that.
Fantastic. I like
Yeah,
that a lot.
Appreciate you, Spider-Man.
So,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm doing well. So
What-
my name is Angel.
Hi, Angel.
I'm a third year here at UCI,
Yeah.
and we're talking about pooping in public restrooms.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, okay, so I understand. I think it's like a litmus test of like how much people are for it or against it tells a lot about a person.
Sure.
So like if people are just super, like if I meet somebody and they're super anti, like, oh, I'm never pooping in public restrooms, I can't do it. I'm like, you're not down for like the cause.
It's like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
You gotta suck it up sometimes. And if you and the homies are like on a rush somewhere, you don't want to be the person that's holding back the plans. And you
Facts.
gotta poop in the sus restroom that has graffiti on it and a number with an area code that's not in the area type type stuff. But it's okay. Also, how are we with profanity?
totally good.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. But yeah, you just gotta you gotta take one for the team sometimes, even if it is. Now there is a limit, right? Like, you know, if you're traveling down like the freeway or something, a road trip or something type vibes, and there's like a truck stop, and there's a limit to where there's like some sort of like, can I get a disease from this experience?
Sure.
Like that. It's like, okay, like maybe just hold it.
Call
you
me
know?
crazy, but like, I low-key like pooping in public restrooms.
Okay, explain that.
Like, I don't know. Okay.
You gotta give context, brother. I'm not
It's-
saying you're wrong for that, but you could be.
Well, like, one, I think that, like,
Okay.
public restroom hand soap
Right? Oh yeah.
is
yeah.
always so awesome.
But-
Especially, like, when it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that's balanced out by public restroom toilet paper.
Oh, my
That's
God.
like a third ply,
Facts,
and it's
dude.
thin, and you can see your own past in it, man.
Dude, it's awful. Okay, that's true. Bad toilet paper. Okay, speaking of toilet paper, this is funny. So you talk about your litmus test. Here's my litmus test. Do you wipe standing up or sitting down?
So me sitting down, like you do like the you do
Okay,
the,
me
you
too,
do-
me too.
You do like the reach around. It's like one of these.
Some people do it standing up, though. Isn't that
No,
fucking crazy?
No, okay, let me say this then. The same people who poop standing up are the same people
No,
that
not poop standing up.
that
Wipe
when they
standing
when
up. Wipe standing up.
wipe standing. Okay,
Yeah.
the same people that okay, that's crazy. The same people
That
that
is crazy, right?
The same people that wipe standing up are the same people that like they go up to the urinal and they pull their whole pants down.
I just
Like-
like the type of coverage you're getting.
Yeah.
Like it's not clean.
No.
It's not clean.
Well, okay, but then let's talk about this. I feel like just wiping isn't probably clean. So how do we feel about bidets?
Okay, my roommate has a bidet,
Yeah.
and I'm scared. I haven't
Why
used
are
it
you
yet,
scared?
but I've been living with this guy for like 3 months,
Yeah.
and he uses it every single time, and he claims it's great. But like, it scares me, man. Like, what? I don't like water in the butt is crazy to me.
Okay, like that's my thing too. Like it is a bit uncomfortable, but
Apparently, it's amazing though.
dang, I don't know how much you're gonna get into this. Like, I, I think yeah. I mean, I guess like the uncomfort of it does make sense, but at the same time, like we probably aren't. Like, I think even humans that have good hygiene probably aren't as clean as they should be.
True.
Type shit. Like we don't. certain products that we're using or whatever, like we can always like I feel like the basic standard for human hygiene probably isn't high enough.
I kind of agree with
Shout
that.
out STEM majors for sure. Shout out
I'm a
STEM
STEM
majors.
major. I can relate to that.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah,
So that you yeah.
Every final, I don't shower for like 3 days, and then after.
I think we should get his perspective. Then I'll still stay here. I'll stand back, but let's swap.
We were talking about a lot of things. We were talking about general hygiene,
Wiping.
pooping in public, wiping. How do you wipe standing up or sitting down?
Dude, I come from Iran. We wipe our asses with water.
Okay, we were talking about bidets. We were talking about
It's the
bidets.
best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. Like, I don't know how. It was a culture shock for me how people can wipe their asses with tissues.
So do you
here.
use like a bidet or like a bum gun? Cause like is it the handheld or does
What
it
is
shoot
a
out?
bum gun?
Like so there's like two different kinds of bidets. There's like the one that shoots out from the toilet,
got you.
and then there's a bum gun. You hold it and you like put it back there.
I imagine like a Nerf gun kind of thing. So my bad.
No,
So
no.
there's like a, you can call it like a water hose.
Uh-huh.
There's one that, and there's this another one. We call them off tub. It's like a container and just like has a thingy that comes out of it and
Yeah.
just like pour it on your ass.
And which do you prefer?
Obviously the water hose thing.
That's fair.
Because you
Yeah.
have constant water coming out.
But so there's no tissues used at all.
if you wanna, if you wanna like, because there's water and you wanna kind of.
I was gonna say right because you don't want to be like getting your pants wet.
Yeah, so if you wanna dry it out, like maybe some people use it. I don't use it because I don't really.
That's
Uh,
crazy. Are your
yeah.
underwear just like a little moist all the time? I
But-
kind of like that.
But the moist goes away after like 10 minutes.
Okay, that's fair. But it
But-
keep you cool, I bet.
But your ass is gonna be squeaky clean.
See, I get the hype of like having clean butt though, because I take like long shits. I shit forever, so long. I get minimum 20 minutes, minimum. But we're talking upwards of like 30 sometimes, and it's because I'm just wiping like crazy. Like I probably wipe like 70 times, no exaggeration, at least 40. And like, so because I want to be like clean. Like it's my worst. You know, having poopy butt is like scary as fuck to me.
Yeah.
So I see the hype of the water, but I was telling him like I'm kind of scared. The idea of like water, like not even just hitting my butthole, but going in my butthole is kind of scary to me.
It doesn't go in your butt.
It doesn't go in.
No.
Do you clench then to make sure it doesn't, or like how
It's
do
not
you?
about clenching. It's not about clenching. It's just like water just is flowing on your ass, and you do it with your hand and done.
With your hand is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Butthole control.
Yeah. So you don't clench. Is your butthole just naturally tight? Like how do you prevent it from like?
I never think about that. Wow,
I'm just saying like how do you prevent it from going in though?
It's a butthole, though. It's not like a hole that you're gonna drop into. It's not. Nothing's gonna go in.
Maybe
just
for you,
is.
buddy. Maybe for you. Fascinating. Well, this has been a great conversation.
Yes.
Is there anything else we wanted to touch upon today? Either guys?
Just keep on watching this guy. Do your thing. Peace and love to the universe.
And wipe sitting down.
Wipe sitting down.
No, that's a lie. Wipe your ass with water, guys.
Fair enough.
Pour in the comments. How do you wipe your asshole, yo?